106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
This is a conspiracy.
Restless! I love you.
Joe.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Movie Reviews No One Asked For. Today we'll be talking about the 2022 film, Avatar: Way of Water. Directed by James Cameron. Now, full disclosure, the three of us were not fans of the original, but we watched this one for the Oscar nomination. And, in my opinion, it was a little bit better than the first. The story still wasn't great. But before we get into that, this film was nominated for Best Picture, Best Production Design, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound. I will say the visual effects, for the most part, there were a few iffy scenes, but for the most part, the visual effects were really good. It did look amazing. But the story, at least for me, lacked very heavily in the actual, full scheme of the movie. The story was not that great, just like the first movie. I wasn't a fan of the story. I love if you can make a movie look pretty, do that, but underneath how pretty a movie looks, you need a good story. And for me, for both of these movies, I just didn't feel that engaged. This one I felt a little bit more engaged, like you said. In the last 30-20 minutes, I feel more engaged in that than I did, really. In the first one at all, I just don't feel that engaged. I don't feel like that connected with the characters. It's just... and I wanted to try and just give this a chance after not liking the first one, but it's hard when it's
agreed
over 3 hours long, and it's just just like the first movie. It really is. But like I said, the special effects, they were good, just the story was not. And one thing I did like was Stephen Lang coming back as the bad guy. I did like him because I like Stephen Lang as an actor. I think he's good. But the whole third act of the movie, before they have this big fight, he just kind of disappears for 45 minutes. You don't really see his character. You're supposed to think he's hunting down Jake Sully, and then he just disappears. And I'm like, okay. And all the swimming scenes, yes, everything looks pretty, but looking pretty does not equal good story.
Yep.
But that being said, this movie, it was okay, and I really did want to like it more, and there were just parts of it I just could not get into, and the story was the biggest part of that. I love a good story. If it has a good story and I am engaged throughout the entire thing, I'm going to love a movie. But there's very little, in a 3-hour movie, it should not only keep me engaged the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It should keep me engaged, most of the movie. But what can you do? I mean, and these are all our opinions. We know that you guys will have different opinions. If you guys love Avatar, that's great. Film is art, and art is
subjective.
Art is subjective. Anybody can love anything.
Absolutely.
And for us, Avatar's just not one of our things that we love. And for me, part of that also comes from just James Cameron. I'm not the biggest fan of his work. I love Terminator, but then Aliens is great too, but then after that it all just True Lies is decent. The Abyss, could not get into that one. But just...
Titanic was good when the ship started sinking.
Yeah, again, another movie halfway through. It wasn't good till the last part.
It wasn't good till the second half.
Unless you like romance, I guess.
But yeah, that being said, it's just... I wanted to like this, but I just couldn't find it in myself to like it. And I really did try. I did try because I wanted to see what everybody loved about it, and I just couldn't find it. But that's my opinion. And if you guys have a different if you guys have something else to say about why you loved it, we'd love to hear it in the comments too. But yeah, I just was not the biggest fan.
I agree. This is a hard video to do because I know it has such a following, so I know that like a lot of people will get upset. But this again, it's just our opinion. I never liked the first one. Now, I mean, granted, when it came out, the graphics and stuff, yeah, they're great. I mean, that was around the same time as Marvel started their stuff and CGI and all that stuff started getting really big. But you know, it was one of the first movies that really did it to the extreme, and it you know, that part of it was really good. It's the story, like you said, the storyline is just. I was really hoping that this would have a better story because, you know, we're not all about the CGI anymore. I mean, that's all movies do it now. I mean, it's a big thing, so everybody does it. So I really thought that the story would be more focused on this time. And no, it wasn't at all. It was just, wow, boring. I just was so bored. It took us, 3 days to finish it? And granted, I know it's a long movie. 2 days. 3 days. Yes. I don't know. It took us a while to finish the movie because we kept stopping it and be like, can we just do something else? Because it was just terrible. Until like the last 30 minutes or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I got my attention now. And that last 30 minutes is the only reason why it's not going to be ranked as lower than another movie. But it was really boring. Yeah, I'm not a fan of James Cameron usually, except for like his old stuff. Really old stuff. I do like that a lot of the same people came back after so many years. That's really cool. And if you do like the movies, that's great. It's just not something we're into. In fact, I thought the graphics this time kind of looked kind of cartoonish, or like I was playing the Wii or something. Like it just didn't look like what I thought it should be in a Avatar movie. And it wasn't the whole time, don't get me wrong. It looked just kind of cartoonish is all I can say at times. So it just, I don't know. Maybe if we like the first one, you would like the second one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, is that this year, because of the movie Nope, which I loved, this year was a big year for spectacles. Things that are like that you like to look at but don't really make sense. And I feel like this is one of those things. It's pretty to look at. Avatar is pretty to look at. It really is. Like the visual effects, the cinematography, all of it. It's very pretty. But just on a deeper level, there's not much there. And it's really just a spectacle. It's just something that is pretty to look at. Yeah. Is what this is.
But you know, and I agree completely, because actually I was going to say, I feel like the first Avatar was a huge mega hit, and not because of the story, as you guys said. If you think back, what was that, 2009 that came out? That was like the first, with the visual effects and CGI and everything, it was the first 3D movie that everybody couldn't wait to go see in 3D because the visual effects were so out there and looked so great. I think when you and I watched it in the theater, right?
No.
Or we didn't watch it in the theater. But we watched a movie around that time in 3D also, and you were like, I don't like the 3D effect. No. You couldn't stand it from the beginning, so you said it made you dizzy or didn't feel well or whatever. You didn't like 3D stuff.
It was different from the 80s when you had the little glasses and
the
stuff.
Little 3D glasses.
I mean, that was different. I liked it then.
It's more immersive now with the graphics and everything.
It just kind of made me a little nauseated. I couldn't do it.
But I've always thought, since that movie came out in 2009, the only reason it was as mega of a hit as it was because of the 3D graphics and everything, which, there are movies that come out through all the decades that do something cutting edge that become a mega hit, Star Wars, whatever. They all have those special effects and stuff. But I've always thought the story was boring, just like the rest of you. There's no real meat to it to get you engaged. With all this overdose of visual effects, I honestly have a hard time keeping the character straight. I'm just like, I don't know what character's what, which is part of...
that is a big problem.
But that's another big problem I had too.
Everybody confused.
All the blue people, okay, who's who? I mean, it's just... And then I lose interest because I'm like, I don't even know anymore and I don't care. The story's not good enough to keep me engaged, and everybody from each group, the fish group, the blue man group, whatever you want to call them, they all look the same in their groups, and I'm like, I'm just done. So too much visual effect, and I can't tell who's who, and I start to just not even care. Yeah. The last half hour you guys talk about the fight scenes and stuff, they were okay. I still didn't think it was the greatest. Yeah. It's kind of predictable what was going to happen, but as you're watching the last 30 minutes, but I don't know, it was just meh. Yeah. Again, not the worst movie I've watched out of these 10, but not that great.
Yeah. That being said, though, I do want to say, though, before I get my rating, Zoe Saldana, you did great.
Don't be mad, Zoe.
Yeah,
We love
Zoe.
you, Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe, you did great. Can't wait to see you in Guardians 3.
Yeah,
Anywho,
right.
other than that-
Honestly, I mean, they all did fine. There was no really bad acting in it.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
not
just
really.
How can you tell when everybody's blue?
well, all the people did great. I don't know.
Yeah, all the
It's
blue
just
people did great.
I don't know. I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Okay,
was
perfect.
It was okay.
That being said, though, my rating for this movie, and I think a first time since we've started this channel, is a 2-star rating.
Oh,
I
welcome to
also
the
gave
club.
I also gave it 2 stars.
And I as well gave it 2 stars. This is the first time we've all had the
I
same
think
rating
so.
for a movie.
I think
Perfect.
so.
Two across the board. Nice.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please like, subscribe, comment, all that. Comment your thoughts on the movie. We'll still listen to them. Like I said, like your guys' takes are going to be different than ours. We may not like the movie, but you might. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you watch all of our Best Picture nominees videos before we do the final ranking right before the Oscars, because we'll be going more in depth in these videos than we will for the actual Oscars video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.